Hello everyone, Tudor here and welcome to my first league racing highlights video on this channel. This is the F1 Romanian Championship around Spain. It's a pre-season race where only points for the top 3 are awarded like in real life sprint race. In real life Formula 1, like 3 points for the win, 2 points for second place and 1 point for third place. And it's also my first league race without ABS. I decided to completely turn it off. I decided I'm going to drive without it from now on, as my objective for this year is to drive completely without assists. So I decided to start the year strong with turning the ABS off. My second objective for this year will be to switch to PC, as the PC is obviously the better platform, as I'm now racing on Xbox. I've been wanting a PC for quite a long time, but it's obviously very hard to get one right now, as graphic cards are very expensive right now, and it's simply not worth buying one now. And you can obviously tell I'm very nervous talking right now because I'm not used to doing voiceover videos, although I hope I will get better in the future to make more content for you, as I will obviously do more league racing highlights and stuff, hopefully. What I also hope for is to get a wheel, so obviously I can have a better experience playing the F1 game, because right now on controller I feel like I'm good for a controller player, but obviously if I want to go to that next level, obviously the wheel is the way to go. Enough talking now, as we will start our flying lap here. We did a banker of a 1:17.3. I feel like we can go much faster because in time trial I did a 1:16.0. So here we are on the main straight, 80 gear, top speed of 315 kilometers, braking hard for first braking zone, trying not to lock up. Now short shifting up to 5th, going to the fast right hander. We are up on our time, which is very good to see. Pole time right now is a 1:16.5, so obviously want to beat that. Downshifting and shorting up to 5th in this corner. This corner is very easy to lock up, and we managed not to do that. I think I didn't lock up there, maybe only the rear tires. This corner is very tricky. I think this is the hardest corner of this circuit, which I find myself spinning quite often. This is also a pretty difficult corner, but it's easier to get right than the previous one, and we are up by almost 5/10 as we go through sector 3. We are purple on sector 2, which is very good to see. Short shifting here up to 4th gear. It's a good lap, although we left some time on the table in that corner. And now the final chicane, probably one of the worst parts of this circuit, but it was a pretty good lap. We are by almost 5/10, I think, and we go up to the line. It's a 1:16.8, which is decent. I think we could have done better, but after all, it's not much more we can do. As we now start on a qualifying lap here, 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the session. Pole time at that moment was a 1:16.5, so I think we could have matched that, or maybe a bit slower, but it was not that easy, as he was obviously going to improve on his lap. We are not up by too much going through sector 1. It's not going to be enough if we want to really have a shout at pole position, but we were getting, like I said, there was time to be found in sector 3, so I was hoping that I could have gained quite a lot of time there. We go through sector 2 now. We are red on our delta, but like I said, there was time was going to be found. DRS open, getting I think a little bit of slipstream from that car in front, but here we paused the game because I lost force feedback on my controller, and the lap was ruined because batteries on Xbox, when the battery ran out of a controller, you lose force feedback, so the lap was over for me. So these are the final results of qualifying. We managed to stay P2, which was obviously very good. That's where I want to finish, top 2 in the race, and we cut now to the start of the race. The strategy that I was going to do was a soft to hard, hopefully like in lap, take the softs to lap 8 or 9. That would be the sweet spot, and then hards to the end of the race. Unless there is a late safety car, we may switch to softs again.
Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin.
So here we are waiting for the lights to go on. And 5 red lights, and away we go, immediately short shifting up to second, third, turning the overtake on fourth. We get off to a pretty good start. Dude immediately goes to cover the inside as he doesn't want to be vulnerable if I attack him into turn 1, and it's a pretty good start. We managed to stay P2, and we haven't spun yet, which hopefully we won't do. No major incidents happening at the back, which is obviously very good to see people race cleanly, as we want to stay in the DRS zone for the most of the first stint and hopefully the most of the race, so we can launch an attack further into the race. As in the upcoming corner, you'll see I'm going very cautiously. I don't want to take that curb, as in the last season I spun there and crashed, which was obviously very sad. But a decent first lap. We managed to keep track position, we don't use too much overtake, and it was going to look good probably from here. I expected my pace was looking decent if I could only stay in the DRS zone and pretty close to 2D. But as you can see here, the gap was already higher than 1 second because I wasn't pushing too much through that last chicane. As we are now in lap 2, a virtual safety car has been deployed. Somebody has crashed.
Risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
And what you want most to do under a virtual safety car is to stay very close to 0 on the delta, as you do not want to lose too much time, but also to not speed up, which you'll see later on what I'm talking about. Yeah, and here 2D faked the pit stop, but I did not fall for it. As we jump now to the end of the virtual safety car, wanting to stay green on the delta, and in a few moments you'll see what happens. 2D gets a drive-through penalty. He told me after the race that he was 0.00 on delta, as yeah, obviously when you're at the highest level you don't want to leave anything on the table, and he was just too aggressive with doing that, and it was going to cost him a lot, as also if he serves it in this lap, he will lose a lot of track position. He will be stuck in traffic, and that will completely hurt his tires. So at this moment I was pretty much in prime position to win this race, unless I don't get any penalties, if I don't crash or stuff like that, as I had the right strategy, I had good enough pace to probably stay in the lead, and it was looking very good for me. I was feeling very good. No ABS was obviously making a difference in my driving style, as I had to go more cautious, being more concentrated, which was, I think, was very good for me, as concentration in the past races has been quite a big problem for me. As we are now at the end of lap 5, you'll see another virtual safety car has been deployed, and the gap behind is 3 seconds. The guy in P3 pits, I think he will put on the medium tire, because I remember the AlphaTauri and the Williams were doing soft, medium. Now the safety car is ending, don't want to speed up, we want to stay on green on the delta and to continue on with our race.
Okay, clear.
As you might see, the guy in P4 also got a drive-through penalty, so a lot of penalties being thrown around here in this race, not sure what was going on. But here we are in lap 8, the lap in which we are going to fit on the hard tires. Soft tires are pretty much dead, no pace really anymore to go on with them. So hard tires should easily do like 24 laps from lap 9 to the end of the race.
Go, go, go.
we have a good stop and we will hopefully rejoin in front of the medium runners, hopefully to not get any of dirt here from them. And we pulled it to absolute perfection. We are still in the lead of the race, which is absolutely crucial for us if you want to win this. As we are now in lap 11 going through the middle sector, we get a warning here. I think this is our second warning. And here we get our third warning and we get our first 3-second time penalty of the race, which was obviously not ideal, but at the same time we had the gap, we had quite some leeway to get to not lose too much because of this penalty. But at this point Tudi, who's also in tier T, he's a main driver and he races in SRC and he's been recently assigned to tier 2 of WR. He's in P4 now and the gap is 18 seconds, so I didn't think it would have been possible for him to catch me before the end of the race and overtake me. Essentially to gain 15 seconds to be in that 3-second window that would demote me to P2 if he doesn't get any penalties. And it obviously came as a surprise to me that I would get those penalties because I improved quite a lot on track limits. In F1 2020 I would get like 12 seconds of penalties per race, and this game I simply didn't get really penalties at all for track limits. Let's say highest I had was 6 or 9 seconds, but still it wasn't very good that I had those penalties. But anyways, I was feeling very good at this point in the race. I was happy with my pace, with my consistency. I managed to not make any mistakes. Jeff here comes with a stupid strategy change, like I said, hard to the end. And this is lap 20, 14 laps to go. Tudi says the fastest lap, but he's too far behind, 17.5 seconds, and that's where the gap stayed for most of the time. I think I should have mentioned that I find Spain to be up there with my top 5 tracks in this game this year. I don't know, I think it just fits my driving style for whatever reason. I find myself quite feeling quite good when I drive this track. And I'm going to take this moment to also tell you that if you want to watch my league races live, usually I will be streaming them on Twitch, on my Twitch channel, on Fridays and Saturdays, as I get another penalty, which just was not ideal, but again I had enough of a gap behind me to afford to get this penalty. Or at least that is what I was thinking at that moment. As you'll see later on, something very bad will happen. What I also find quite interesting is when you drive without ABS, tires last longer, which is a good thing, because myself personally I'm not very good with tires.
Drop your speed, our delta is too low and we risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
No, Mikey, no, Mikey, that was so not right.
And yep, this is the bad thing that I was talking about earlier. Safety car has been deployed. You heard Toto, this isn't right. I'm completely screwed right now with these penalties. Everyone comes in to fit on the soft tires and we will have a like 3 or 4 lap sprint to the finish, in which I will have to put a gap between me and the car behind of 6 seconds or maybe less if they also get a penalty, hopefully. And it was obviously going to be very hard, as Tudi is extremely fast. He's much faster driver than me, especially on race pace. And the safety car is coming in at the end of lap 28. The sky is also getting darker, as Jeff was telling me throughout the race that we will have rain for the end, but I thought that the race would end before the rain, and we're now pedal to the metal. We have 5 laps in which we might have a chance to still keep P1, if not at least to stay on the podium. Tudi here already looking to make a move, but to my advantage, Spain is really hard to overtake at, with really 2 only overtaking the zones, and that is the 2 DRS zones. In case you haven't noticed, P3 got a 3-second time penalty, so that makes it a bit easier for me, as I had to only pull a 3-second gap from him to me to stay in a P2 eventually, if Tudi doesn't get a penalty. Exactly as I say that, he gets a 3-second time penalty, but it was obviously not going to be enough for me. As I said, the fastest lap here, very good.
That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
That can obviously confirm that the pace was there, and it just would be very sad not to win on my first race without ABS, but yeah, it is what it is. As the gap now to P3 is 2.3 seconds, so it was looking good. I thought I could maybe pull a 3-second gap.
We have 5 laps of fuel remaining.
As you now enter lap 32, the gap is 2.8 seconds, so it was looking better and better. But also we have now rain coming down, not too heavy and not enough for a switch to intermediates, especially with the time left in the race. But here we are now for the final lap of the race.
This is your final lap.
We have to give it absolutely everything in this lap to stay in P2, hopefully. Tudi gets very close here, but he does not make the move. Rain also makes it a bit harder to drive, but not that much. It was still feeling okay, although we were much slower. In this final lap I was just feeling really sad and not very proud of myself that it was not the first time that I would throw away a win because of penalties. It was also a combination of bad luck for that safety car to come out so late, but it's racing, you know, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, and it was just one of those times. You do almost everything right and it just doesn't go your way, and you want to come back stronger, obviously. But let's see now if we can at least keep P2, as the gap to P3 is 2.7 seconds, so it's not looking very good. I didn't expect him to get that close. Going now through the final chicane, it's up to 2.9 seconds. It's going to be extremely close, too close for comfort. As we go to the line, overtake enable, please, can we keep P2 at least? No, we haven't. 733 milliseconds was the gap. 733 milliseconds separated us from P2, so obviously I was extremely sad. Such a rookie mistake to get those penalties, and look how they can make a difference. After all, I'm happy with my pace and how I felt during the race. I was very focused, very calm, never really made a huge mistake apart from the penalties, and that's the good stuff we have to come up with, because those mistakes, we have to just learn from them, and hopefully for the future it will finally go my way and finally show what I've got. Still, I think I did extremely well for 1.5 weeks of no ABS. These are the results at the end of the race. P3 we gained 1 point, and now top 3 in the standings are all equal on points, but that's only pre-season. There is still one more race of pre-season to go around Silverstone, and hopefully we can turn that around and get a much better result than this. If you guys enjoyed, please hit the like button, as that helps me a lot. I want to keep putting out content like this for the future. So obviously your support means a lot to me. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you around.